Makes them both. Dude, let's do it, bro. We're going live for the post game.
Dude.
Oh my god, dude. We just
Uh,
beat the Pelicans in New Orleans. You have to give them a lot of respect because that was an incredible game. But
what the hell, bro?
123, 118. The Thunder are moving on for one more game.
Dude, we're going to Minnesota, Chet's hometown area. Man, this is exactly what we need to do right now. This team played an amazing game, but let's just tip our hats to where they need to be tipped because Shea had 5 points in the first half, guys. Five. I'm sorry, 7 points in the first half. He ends the game with 32 points. He had 25 second half points, guys. Unbelievable job by Shea tonight.
Yeah, and not just Shea, dude. Not just Dort, because Dort had a huge game, bro. But
Unbelievable by
Giddy.
Dort, dude.
Giddy puts up a stat line that will make any player jealous, bro. I don't care how long they've played in the league for how what they've accomplished.
This team, bro.
31 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds. Bro,
Josh
amazing
Giddey.
stat line
Josh
and
Giddey.
just an incredible game. But let's break down the end sequences real quick. Lou Dort, after having this incredible offensive output that everybody
Mm-mm.
was wondering what he was going to be able to do, he comes out and puts up 27. But his 27 was punctuated by the last two, which were from the free throw line. There was an inbounds play where Giddy finds Shea. Shea goes up for a bucket with what I think there was like 12 seconds left in the game at this point, and it gets blocked by Richardson. Dort is Johnny on the spot, collects the ball, gets fouled, goes to the free throw line, and knocks down both free throws. It was an epic ending for really Lou Dort's second best playoff game ever, right? Only that 30.7 game 7 against Houston Rockets is comparable, but this game, it was incredible. Dort, Shea, and Giddy. Three-headed monster, bro.
Yeah, and then you have J Dub throwing in 11 points that he did with the two steals. It was insane. Like the defense that we played, the offense that we played. We were getting killed on the offensive boards in the first half, and then came back in the second half and just shut that shit off. Like we stopped turning the balls over. We had 7 turnovers in the game. We had 5 block shots. We had 7 steals. This team was on point at all levels tonight. And yes, we had some down times where we got down by a little bit or here and there, but we would come storming back. The coaching, the players, everybody was on point. And then you saw just the separation and why Josh Giddey is such a separate special player is he steps up in big games. We've said it day in and day out. When you are a special player like Josh Giddey and you learn to step up, things change. And Josh Giddey is doing some spectacular things right now.
Dude, let's talk about some of the guys off the bench. Wiggins, big time minutes. Sarge, big time minutes. And then a guy who was a starter, J. Will, who absolutely just was passing the ball incredibly. I'm going to make sure I get the number right. He had 8 assists today and 8 points. On top of that,
Unbelievable.
bro, 8 rebounds. So it was a
Unbelievable.
triple eight day for J. Will. And like you mentioned, J Dub, big time minutes for him. But here's the thing offensively, he had a really slow start. It seemed like he was really trying to find his spots. And then down the stretch, he just exploded. And there was that big dunk in the last minute, I think, where it was just like, you can't leave him alone. He continued to shoot the ball with confidence. And I feel like for him, he has another gear he's going to be bringing it because guess what, guys? We have another game Friday night against the motherfucking Timberwolves. And everybody who joined us for this live knows exactly how much fun we just had.
Yeah, and it's all going to be on the line again because when you're having your backs up against the wall like this, and you have a young team just finding out who they can be, and then all of a sudden you start hearing the rumbles and people believing in these players. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a storm. And when the storm comes, everybody's going to take a step back and just watch it because to me, like this is what the Oklahoma City Thunder are all about. They come at you, they don't stop. They have offense, they have defense, and then we have a superstar that can drop 27 or 25 points in a half like it's nothing. That's what we're so incredibly amazing about. And I'm telling you, when push comes to shove, and we're looking at this team in the future, we're going to look at Josh, we're going to look at Shea, we're going to look at these guys, and we're going to say we had the chance to watch these guys play their first playoff win together, and that was spectacular.
So when Shea had, what, 7 points in the first half, how many questions did you have that that was going to be how the game was defined in the end?
Zero, zero. I said to you, uh, Shea only having 7 points in the first half means that he's going to score, 20 something points in the second half. That's what needed to happen. Shea stepped up. He scored that 20 plus points, and that was the difference in the game. I said if Shea had 20 points in the first half, we'd be up by 10, 15 points. Now Shea comes back and scores 20 something points in the second half. To me, what Shea's doing is so next level that people just need to take a step back and really appreciate and tip your hat and say, Shea, I mean, you're one of the best. And that's truly spectacular saying that he's 24 years old. And we're all sitting here saying, you're one of the best. And we're saying that as being super fans of the Oklahoma City Thunder. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the reality is the rest of the NBA is starting to wake up and realize it too.
All right, and let's talk about Josh Giddey because we've been talking for a long time about his AFL roots, Australian Football League roots, and his ability to be a gamer and his
Footy,
competition
baby.
level. His refusal to let the team die was apparent throughout the game. What did you learn about him, Josh Giddey, as the competitor during this game?
Dude, he wanted it. He was yelling. He was getting fired up. He got punched in the balls during the
He
game,
got literally punched in the balls by
he
Josh
got so
Richardson.
fired up they had to hold him back. Like this is what I wanted to see from Josh. When you put a little fire under somebody, you have a reaction. And Josh to me is doing everything he needs to do to show everybody that he is a star in the NBA and he's going to be a star for a very long time.
So okay, so I ran through really fast Jay Will's stats, 8, 8, and 8. But you tell me what you learned about Jay Will in this game.
Well, I mean, the fact is that Jay Will doesn't need the ball in his hands. I mean, doesn't need to score to dominate games. He doesn't need to take charges to dominate games. What Jay Will needs to do is that the ball needs to go through him on the offensive side, whether that's getting offensive boards like he did three tonight, or the 8 assists that he got. Like the way that he sees the floor, it's to me, it's like not as good of a passer as Josh Giddey or not as good as a floor general as Josh Giddey, but he's really close to being up in there in the same category of the one hand passes that he does, the seeing the back doors that he does. Like he sees the game at a whole new level. And again, it goes back to the Arkansas and what they're training there for, in developing the young players there. This is why it's so important to have a college or a G League that teaches young players how to play the game properly, and you're seeing it in Jay Will. He's coming in the game. He played 32 minutes tonight, and he just what I would consider dominated the game without really scoring.
Yeah, I mean, Jay Will was able to have this one offensive rebound where he picked it up with one hand, and then he was able to find the right lane for a pass. I think it was to J Dub for a layup. And there was another time where the ball found him with like 4 seconds left on the shot clock, and he went to his sky hook, which I haven't seen him used all season.
Beautiful, bro.
But his ability to like be elusive as he approaches the basket and make sure he's understanding of like the situation and getting the shot off, like you said, his passing. Like, so how can somebody have an 8, 8, and 8 game and us not be thinking seriously about a triple double threat for Jay Will? But somehow, like you're saying, he does it differently than Giddy, but it's almost nearly as effective. And it's this high post, one hand bounce pass, looking over his shoulder, really, secretive and just complicated to defend type passer. Valanciunas has a little bit of that, but he's a little bit bulkier and doesn't really, they don't really trust him to run through the offense through as much. But as the game went on, Valanciunas hit a corner three, and there were so many times during this game where it felt like, well, there goes our chance.
Yeah.
Like we were up, then they would go on a run, they would take the lead. I didn't know that we had it, bro. Honestly, if I'm just being real, I mean, everybody was watching. We were trying our best to believe, but there were plenty of times during this game that it didn't feel like this was going to be our game. But we really willed it to be our game. And that to me is a testament of the maturity that this team has gone through over the last few years of development, but specifically this year.
Yeah, and going back to Jay Will and how he played defense tonight, Valachunas Vajayjay was playing pretty good, man, right? But if you look at the first quarter, is where he got all his rebounds and some of his points, and he had 16 and 18, but he had half of his rebounds, I would say, in that first quarter, in the first few minutes of the second quarter too. So right in that time frame of the first 14 minutes of the game, Vijay got all those points and rebounds, and then Jay will learn from that mistakes of keeping him off the glass and how to keep him so he wasn't keeping destroying us on the glass. Now, yes, he did end up getting another 8 rebounds in the game, another 8 points. But the reality is Jay Will learned a lot from the schooling that the JJ gave to him.
I know the plans I have for you, declareth Sam Presti. Plans to prosper you, plans for to do you good harm. And guys, we're starting to see his plans for us coming to fruition. As fans of the Thunder, um, you know, we feel like we're wearing the Cinderella slipper right now. And for us, we just found out midnight doesn't come at least for a couple more days. So we hope that you guys are putting on your party pants and you're lighting up your blunts and you're enjoying every minute. And like Dave said, tell somebody out there that you love them. Tell somebody out there to fuck off.
We'll see you guys soon tomorrow. We're still live. I'm looking at me.
Dude, we had 100.